Greetings and welcome to another episode of SPCA Stories. Hope you are all doing well. If you are new to us, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Dawn Fenton, SPCA Monterey County Content and Education Manager, and we are coming to you from the SPCA Monterey County Claire Jacobson Learning Center in gorgeous Salinas, California. My guest this time is Ashley Fessenden, Clinic Practice Manager here at SPCA Monterey County. She plays a vital role managing and coordinating staff and the day-to-day and often beyond needs of our Spay Neuter Clinic, and works with shelter staff in facilitating medical needs within our animal shelter population. Ashley is a dynamo. She's a true professional, and she clearly loves her job and respects the work of her peers, and I cannot wait for you to meet her. A quick note to some of our more sensitive listeners: delicate topics concerning emergency medical care of injured animals, humane euthanasia, and compassion fatigue do come up, so please take care while listening. Tell me, Ashley, give me your name and your title.
Well, my name is Ashley. You want last names?
Sure.
We're doing last names?
Yeah, we're doing last names.
This.
Why not?
Ashley Fessenden, and I am the Clinic Practice Manager.
Awesome. Now, how long have you worked here?
Well, that's an interesting question that we could talk a lot about. But I started in 2012, and I had a small hiatus for a little while. And I just recently, well, not recently, time flies so fast, I came back in 2022 as the practice manager down there.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. I remember when you were here first. Were you in animal care? Or were you
So I started in animal care in 2012, and then I did a little bit of everything for a while. I did foster coordinator, I did customer care, I did shelter health evaluator.
Wow.
Which I really enjoyed. That was a fun one. A little bit more hands-on. And then I dabbled in a little bit of wildlife on-call for a minute. I've done a lot of things. And then I went to shelter management for a little while, and then I decided to take a little break. I have a degree and a background in environmental science, and I thought, well, I should maybe try to do something with that. And I did. I was an environmental health specialist for the state of California for a little while.
Wow.
With our local counties. So that was an interesting experience. But ultimately, my calling, I felt, was here with the SPCA.
I love that you call it a calling, because I really feel like it is. And I've talked to a few people so far who have gone and tried other things, and then they came back. So it really is. I think working here is, it's pretty special and unlike anything else.
It really is. It's an incredible group of people that we have here. And the work that we do is so important, and it really gives me a lot of purpose and meaning in my life. And I think stepping away from that really shines a light on, what you were doing and what you should be doing.
I love that. I love that. So one of the things I like to do when I start these podcasts interviews is I like to give everybody a little bit of a compliment. I'm kind of, it's just, I just like to set the tone that way, because a lot of what I wanted with this podcast is, yes, we're going to talk about animals, of course. That's important. That's most important. But the work that we do here is so special. And I want the world to know who you are, who the people are who work here, who make all the things happen for the animals in the community. So, because I think that's important. I think it's important that people know that, we're all real people with real lives and real past experiences. And I'm hoping that whoever's listening to this podcast, I hope that they really understand that we're a wonderful, fantastic organization that's made up of people, of really great people who have all of the best intentions.
I absolutely agree. The work that we do is so difficult, and we see a lot of hard things, and it makes it easier to do that work when you're surrounded by great people.
Absolutely. And bringing it back to that, I wanted to say to you, I remember working, we didn't work in the same department, but when you were here the first time and when you were leaving, I was like, oh, she's so great. I mean, you just have such an easygoing way about you that makes people feel comfortable and fun. And I can't ever tell if you're having a bad day because, you just have this way of getting through it and getting other people through it, I think. And so when you were coming back, I was like, oh, yes, she's coming back because you're just, I really admire the way you handle yourself and the way that you work with people and you're easy to approach. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. That's really nice.
I really want people out there to understand, the staff that we have here is special. And people do go away and come back, and there's a reason for it, and we're so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So thank you for all of that.
Yeah.
When you meet someone at a party for the first time, how do you describe what you do? Someone says, "Hey, Ashley, nice to meet you. What do you do for work?"
Oh, describe how I
describe
what do I say for work?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily dive into work right away when I meet somebody at a party, but if I were to meet somebody at a party and say, this is what I do, I think I always just dive right into, I'm a clinic practice manager at a Spay Neuter Clinic. And I know they're always kind of like, oh, you just, that's all that you do is you just manage. They're always like, what do you do you just manage the Spay Neuter Clinic? And so I find that sometimes there's a lot of questions and follow-up that go along with that. And I think once I describe, that I work for the SPCA, a lot of people know the SPCA around here, but a lot of my family and friends are outside of here. So there is a lot of, explaining what we do here at the SPCA in Monterey, because not every community is lucky to have an organization like this in it. So there is a lot of, just brief but not so detailed about what it is that we do here at the SPCA. But normally I don't jump right into what I do and what I work, where I work.
Yeah, I understand.
But I usually try to make a joke right off of the bat, when I meet somebody just to break the ice, observational comedy of some sort. But
so let's talk a little bit about let's talk a lot about the clinic. How about that? So tell me about our clinic. What tell them I know about our clinic. Tell our listeners about our clinic.
Yes.
Kind of a broad question. I know,
very broad question. Yeah. So in broad strokes, our clinic is a Spay Neuter Clinic. That is primarily what we focus on, although we do offer other services. We're a high volume Spay Neuter Clinic, so that means that we try to spay and neuter as many animals as we can on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. On top of that, we provide basic wellness services like vaccines, microchipping, flea treatment, that sort of thing. On top of all of that, we also support the shelter and the work that they do in terms of the medical care that the animals coming into the shelter need as well. So that keeps us pretty busy down in the clinic.
So you don't really have a light day ever?
No.
There's always something happening.
Right.
And all of this, just so the listeners know, is low cost.
It's low cost. Yes,
because
thank you.
We want all of these things to be available to our community because they're really important. So, So, and also with the shelter system, when we have an animal that comes in as a stray, they may not be 1,000% healthy and ready to go on the adoption
More
floor.
often than not.
Yeah. What kinds of things do you guys see?
I mean,
the strays.
In terms of strays, we see often we see injuries in those animals. There's a wide variety of injuries that animals come in, or medical conditions that people just aren't able to treat because of the high costs that come along with that. So our veterinarian staff, they're not just spaying and neutering all day. They're also doing complex surgical procedures on some of these animals, animals that are hit by car, animals that have conditions that have gone on untreated to the point where it requires high intervention by our medical staff to help them out. So it's a wide variety of cases that we see coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that just as an organization, we're always kind of on standby for things. I mean, that's everything from HI to obviously, I mean, I've been around when someone has brought in a dog that's been hit by a car and it's like an emergency.
Emergency, yeah. And in those cases, they happen all the time just because it's, Friday at 5:00. It doesn't mean that those cases don't come in and we don't, we have to spring into action and we have to help these animals and make sure that they're taken care of. So yeah, it never stops.
Yes. And again, I'm so impressed with our clinic staff and with you
They're
and
incredible.
how you deal with everything, because I've seen where, you have your day, it's probably set. You've got your spays and neuters that you have on the schedule. You have the rounds, that the vets go on, and then something happens.
Right. I think you kind of have to like chaos a little bit to do this job. It's so unpredictable, and you think that your day is going to be one way, I'm sorry. And it's never that way. It's never what you think it's going to be, which I think that's great.
No, it's
variety and
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So kind of in that vein, if possible, kind of walk us through what your day is like.
Yeah.
What time do you get here? You get here pretty early.
We usually are here by 7. I'm here by 7. Check-in for our public animals starts at 7:00. Often we have a line of people waiting for us when we pull in. So it's not a easy start to the day where we get to kick back and drink our coffee. That has to be done well ahead of time. So we deal with check-in. We get all the animals situated into their kennels, and then our staff has to set up every morning all of our surgical equipment and everything that we need for the day. And we start going through the medical exams that need to happen. All of the animals that come in on the public side get a quick pre-surgical medical exam just to make sure that they're good to go for surgery. And then we get the ball rolling. We're pretty much in surgery until 1:30 in the day. And then after that comes any needs of the shelter, which we always have some sort of need of the shelter in terms of medical cases with the animals. So then we see them. Also, throughout the day, we have our vaccine clinics going. Our staff is having animals come in that need their basic wellness vaccines, microchipping, and flea treatment, and we go ahead and we do that for them as well. So it's a busy day. It's a little bit of the same, but also you never know what's going to come with the shelter, and every animal is different that comes through our door and has different needs, and so there's always that coming through.
So, and with a lot of the strays that come in, obviously they can't tell us where they came from. Wouldn't that be wonderful?
That would be
so
nice.
Amazing. But I'm gonna guess, I'm gonna make an assumption that a lot of them are not spayed or neutered.
That's a great assumption. We hardly see any strays that come in that are already previously spayed and neutered.
And it is a law in California, right, that when an animal that's in a shelter or a sort of a rescue situation or whatever, they have to be spayed or neutered in order to be rehomed.
Yes, that's correct. Yep. So we have to spay and neuter all of them. Yeah, I love it. It's perfect law. So yeah, we have to do all the spay and neutering on those animals as well. So it keeps us busy between the high demand of our low-cost services with the public and then our shelter strays that need spay neuter and some of our surrenders as well that come through our doors.
I think a lot of our job here, and even, I'm in the education world, And it's just talking about the importance of spaying and neutering and why it's so important to have that for your pet.
I mean, I think the number one reason is the amount of strays that we see coming through our doors of people, unwanted animals. The root cause of all the animals that come into our shelter and don't have homes is because folks aren't spaying and neutering their animals. They're just out there and having more animals that don't have homes, and it creates this cycle of, unwanted animals. And it's really sad to see those animals come in here and not have, what our dogs at home have. You want that for all of the animals that come in here. So spay and neutering is the number one thing to do to prevent that from happening.
Have you ever had someone come in just maybe for vaccinations and their animal is not altered, and you suggested it or your staff has suggested it? And what are the reasons why people are like, no, thank you?
Well,
and you can be frank with me.
Yeah. Some people are like, I don't want you to take my dog's balls off. So that's very funny to me, because often there is risks that come with keeping your male dog intact. There's cancer that often occurs. It's very common in male dogs to have testicular cancer pop up. And it really prolongs the life of your animal. And I don't know why you wouldn't want to do that.
Maybe there's some sort of idea that about the masculinity of the dog,
or something of like the dog, that. Yeah. Or they think that they're going to breed their female dog, and it's this little puppy, and you're like, why are you going to put her through that? It's so tough on them to have litters after litters for
and
your
then
profit.
You have to find homes for all of them. And yes, I think we anthropomorphize our animals a little bit. So I can see that happening, and I could see someone saying, I don't want to do that to my male dog.
My male dog, it's a macho thing.
So it's about kind of, we have to sort of get past that and explain.
Have to get past it. Hey, right, the benefits of it.
Yes, exactly.
It's we have a shelter full of animals that need homes, and your dog making more babies out there is not. It's not helpful, frankly.
Right. Why aren't people doing it?
I think the biggest barrier is cost. And I think that there needs to be more low-cost options available to folks. And then next is probably education, getting out to the communities that aren't reached with low-cost services and education. I think those are the two main things that are barriers to the work that we do down in the clinic. But I think every day that we're here and we're doing these kinds of things like podcasts, I think it helps spread the word, and hopefully it's reaching someone somewhere that maybe had a different idea about it, that now knows that we have low-cost services, so please come to the clinic. And it's something that is highly beneficial to your animal, to you, and to the community as a whole.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm hoping that someone out there who maybe works at another shelter, if you have ideas for us on how we can help to educate. I mean, we're doing our best. We're in the schools, wherever we can get to the kids and kind of planting those seeds and just, trying to get the word out and explaining, doing what we can to explain. But if there's anything that anyone out there is doing that's kind of outside the box, please share. We would love to hear from you. And speaking of our community, so anyone, if you've been to our facility, you know that it's a gorgeous facility. It's on 200 some plus odd acres. And we just have, it's a wonderful facility, but we're sort of remote. I mean, we're kind of, we're kind of a destination shelter, for lack of a better word. So I think, Ashley, along with the cost barriers and the education barriers, sometimes, maybe people can't get to us. So I know we have a mobile clinic, and we're trying to get that out there as much as we can. So how do we how does that happen? I mean, we have the vehicle with the capabilities of the spaying and neutering and vaccine, we do vaccines as well. How do we find places to go?
Yeah. So we kind of look at where our largest incoming population of strays are coming from. And we try to target those areas because that kind of tells us, well, maybe not a lot of people from there are taking advantage of our spay-neuter services. And that happens to be right now our South County areas. We are much closer to the peninsula in our location, and it can be really difficult for those communities to come out to us and to access our services. So lucky us, we have a mobile with wheels, so we can come to them. So recently we partnered with Hitchcock Animal Services to offer free spay, neuter, and vaccines with our mobile unit in the South County area.
That's fantastic.
So we've been focusing on setting up events and getting out in those communities and trying to reach those people who may have a tougher time coming to us here at the clinic. And so far, it's been really great. We've had a lot of interest in it, and I think that just speaks volumes to people. A lot of people out there may want to do the right thing and get their animals spayed and neutered, but those barriers of cost or maybe our location are just a little too much to overcome.
Yeah.
And so this eliminates that for them.
Right. And I mean, for people listening who maybe don't live in this area in Monterey County, our county is huge. It is humongous. So when Ashley says, we're closer to the peninsula, that's Monterey and it's like a 20-minute, if that. It's very easy to get to us. But some of the communities in our South County, it could take an hour each way.
It's a long drive in the mobile unit. I'm going to tell you right now. I understand why people may not want to drive all the way over here.
And it's important to us as an organization and as people who love animals that we help not only the animals that come to us, but the people out there with animals who need us. So I think that our mobile clinic is amazing, and I'm so glad that we have it. And how often do we go out? I know it depends.
Yeah, it depends. Right now we're going out twice a month, and we're kind of alternating between King City, Soledad. We try to do it twice a month. The free mobiles in the King City, Soledad area. It is a smaller unit, so operating on it is a little tricky. And while we have the mobile out, our clinic is still running as normal. So it kind of splits our staff up.
Got it.
So doing it weekly would be really tough, but we're trying to do it, twice a month for the next handful of months.
It's amazing.
And that being said too, we're ramping up into kitten season.
Yes.
I do want to mention that, and that's why we are out there, because kitten season hits. I don't know if listeners are familiar with the almighty kitten season. Yeah, the tornado that comes through the shelter. We get a lot of kittens coming in the spring to fall section. It's a very long season for us.
Yes.
The weather doesn't change here very much, and so the cats keep having kittens. So we also do free feral surgeries as well, Monday through Friday at our clinic to help try to get ahead of that. So listeners out there, if you have feral cats, please come to the clinic. Drop-off is at 7:00, and we will spay and neuter your feral cat for you.
That's incredible. So how does that work? Is it first come, first serve? Because I know you probably have only a certain number of slots for that.
We do, but we're very flexible.
I figured
it's tough to get those feral cats to go into the trap. We do ask that you put them in humane feral traps. They're the cage traps that you kind of see out there for wild animals. If you don't have one, you can rent one from us at our intake center. So if you trap it, we will fix it. I'm just going to say that. I'm not going to put any number on our daily number, but if you trap it, we will fix it.
Got it. And then they also get shots too, right? Don't they get a
They
rabies
do.
shot?
Yeah, they get a rabies shot. They get their first shot of FERCP, which is for Panleuk and upper respiratory infections. And they get their ear tipped. So if they do wander into that trap again, we know that we don't need to do all of those things to them. But yeah, I think it's a great deal. Free $99.
That I love that. That's so funny. Free $99. I'm going to use that. So, have there been any cases that have come through the clinic that have stuck with you?
We see so much.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every time something comes in and it just is so broken, and we turn around and we fix it, and then it's in a home. It's just so incredible to see things that have, broken legs, and it looks like they're not going to use it anymore, and we somehow fix it and they're using it again, it just isn't so incredible, all the things that we do. We do so many things. It's really hard to like pinpoint one that I'm
Absolutely.
like, that's the one. But yeah, I'm very proud of the medical staff that we have down there right now. They do incredible work.
Yes. And above and beyond.
Yeah.
Things.
Yeah.
So I remember one case, and I wish I could remember the dog, but she was so sweet. She came in and she could not use her back legs. And I have this video of her walking, and she's kind of dragging her back legs. And this team, again, above and beyond, this sweet dog. And so they did that thing where they put the little shocks on the back to kind of stimulate all circulation. And then this dog was going to water therapy, just all. And I have video of this sweet dog. I wish I could remember her name, starting out that way. And then our staff just working with her and giving her so much love and taking her to all these appointments. And I have shots of her running with another dog. And it's
incredible.
And she was adopted and has this fantastic home. And I mean, that's just one story. That's just one story. There are so many things.
I know.
And it's so I marvel every day at the things that our staff is capable of.
It's really incredible.
Clinics. Yeah, it's pretty great.
To watch that transformation, it's great.
What would you say is the most difficult part of your job?
That's a good question. I think seeing the animals that come in and we're not able to turn them around. I think that's incredibly difficult. I think it's if we would have seen them, a week prior, or the way that people treat their animals too is just really disheartening sometimes. This animal is. They need us to care for them. They need us to help them. And people don't. And it's incredible that people just are so mean and cruel.
Right.
To the animals that we have. It breaks my heart sometimes to see that kind of stuff and not being able to help them. It sucks. I mean, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
It's really
Absolutely.
tough.
Absolutely. And I'm very, very protective of our team and our folks on the front lines, for lack of a better term, because I know what is seen all the time. And so compassion fatigue, it's real. It is real. And I think I've said this, and we've talked about it in like 3 of our episodes so far, and because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's important for you to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And take care of yourself, because it's a real thing, and we lose good people to that. It's very easy to burn out. So I wonder, what do you do for yourself? What do you do to be able to, because we don't want to lose somebody as wonderful as you to that kind of burnout.
I burned out when I left previously, and I think coming back into it, I was very cautious about where I was in terms of my mental health. I think that's something that in our industry has grown more awareness than it was previously. I think often it was kind of like, even in society as a whole, it kind of was, you just keep those thoughts to yourself.
Yeah. You suck it up and
you do the job. This is
your
a
job.
Yeah.
You chose to do this.
No, it's
job.
not just a job. It's not just a job. It's dealing with lives every day. These animals, and the things that they go through. And I think it's really important to, when you step away from work, to actually step away from work and not have it in your head 24/7. And that means doing things that make you happy. And I try to do as many things as possible to make me happy outside of work. And I try to shut off, the bad things that happened that day and focus on my life that is outside of here. And that means, doing things like getting on my bike and going for a bike ride, or going for a hike, or, traveling. I love to travel. I try to take time away from here as much as possible because it's good to take those breaks and to step away. We have, as we said, great people here to take care of things while you're gone, and
Yes.
I trust everybody around me to make sure that the clinic continues on when I need to take a break. And it's the same for everybody else, I think, in my department. We all trust each other to take a step away and take a step back, because sometimes you need to continue on doing the great work that we do. You can't do great work if you're burned out, or you're feeling, a certain way, or sad, or dark and stormy. You can't do that work, and you can't give the care that you need to give to each animal that comes in here if you're not okay. If you're not caring for yourself, you can't care for them.
Very, very well said. Very well said. What do you wish people knew about what you do?
What we do, I feel like we as an organization do so much. It's incredible, the talent that we have on staff here. We can do the spay and neuter. We can, do the sheltering of the animals. We can respond to disaster. We can, do these great podcasts. We do so much, which is really fantastic. I think the diversity in our do and what we can provide is incredible. And I feel like it's been ever expanding too. I think we started off just as a little shelter that took some animals in here and there, and it's amazing to see what, with the support of our community, we've been able to accomplish here. Yeah. We're growing. We're doing, a lot of behavior classes now. TLC in the shelter, getting animals that were fearful and timid and bringing them out of their shell, which is great. It's incredible, all the things that we do and the opportunities that we have here just as staff members and team members. We get to do so many different things.
And growth is always invited.
I'm not just down in the clinic, ordering supplies and managing the staff. I'm up and around and doing a lot of different things.
Doing interviews with Dawn.
Yeah, doing interviews with Dawn. I'm helping in the shelter. I as an individual get to do a lot of things here, which I think brings so much variety to the daily grind of going to work. And I think that's really great. This work, it doesn't end. I think that's a tough part of the job. You think like, wow, we put up these huge numbers, which we did. I'm going to go ahead and plug us on.
Tell us.
We did over 8,000 spay and neuters last year. And that's the biggest number we've ever had.
Incredible.
And it's incredible. And it just still, the demand is there. It just keeps coming. And we need more vet techs. We need more veterinarians. We need more animal care staff. We need all of that.
And more responsible pet owners in general.
Yes.
In general. I think that's part of it, a huge part of it. Yeah. Is that knowing, understanding, that the pet is family and this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is how we care for our pet.
That
helps every bit as much.
That my dog, is my daughter dog, is what I call her. And I wish I could put her as a, tax deductible as my child, right? This is my child. Oh, yeah.
Is there any question that you wish I had asked you?
Maybe, I don't know, maybe something interesting about myself that nobody knows?
I would love to know that.
Oh, okay. You want to ask it?
Yeah. Okay. Tell me something about you that nobody knows.
Well, a few people might know it because I'm not super secret, but maybe people as a whole here, maybe my fellow employees,
what are
staff members.
Is there something that your coworkers do not know about you that you
I have a collection of insects mounted and framed on my wall. I'm a butterfly collector.
What?
Yes. It all started with this pair of giant moths that I got from my best friend for bridal shower or something like that. She got me moths, which is not a common gift to get somebody.
No.
But was perfect because she knew me. Obviously, besties. And they're like the biggest moths in the world. And from there, I've just expanded my collection of wall-mounted butterflies.
Wow.
And it's the prettiest thing that I have on my wall. I love it. They're all, humanely sourced and everything. They're not,
of course,
killed just to mount.
Of course.
But recently, I've branched out and I got a new piece for my restroom. And it's a dung beetle that's sitting on a toilet with a tiny little newspaper. And I think it's the funniest thing that I've ever seen because it's a dung beetle on a toilet going to the bathroom.
Oh my gosh. And with that, that's incredible. Yeah. That is incredible. Yeah. I did not know that about you. Yeah. And now I do.
Now you do.
Now I do.
You do.
So, is there anything else you want to say? I'm sure I'm going to have you back. There will be other things to talk about, I'm sure, and I will have you back on. Mm-hmm. But is there anything at this time?
I've really enjoyed my time talking to you,
Yay,
Dawn.
good.
I think this is a great thing that you're doing. I was nervous coming into this, but I think we've had quite a lovely little chat today.
Yes.
And
yes.
I certainly look forward to talking to you again. And yeah.
Fantastic.
This is great.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time and for your heart and for how you take care of everybody around here and take care of your staff and the animals. And you're just so valued.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate it.
Thank you all for tuning in. We would love to hear from you. If you have questions for us, please email us at info@spcamc.org. Please put podcast question or something like that in the subject line so your question can be forwarded to me directly. You can find out more information on all of our programs and services that we provide at our website, spcamc.org. A tremendous thank you to all SPCA staff, volunteers, and board of directors, an incredibly supportive, compassionate, kind, and involved group of wonderful and talented people who work tirelessly and endlessly to care for the animals in our community. And a special, heartfelt thank you to our generous, loving supporters. We at SPCA Monterey County could not do what we do for the animals and people in our community without you. If you would like to support us, and that would be most awesome, you can find that information at spcamc.org. If you are so inclined, please drop a like or give us a rating on whatever platform you listen in on. We strive to continue our reach far and wide, and those ratings absolutely help. Dawn Fenton here, signing off until next time. Much unconditional love to you and your pets from all of us here at SPCA Monterey County.